Hey, Jeff here with Digital Trends to give you a quick overview of the new Nokia Lumia 900. This is Nokia's first kind of high-end smartphone on AT&T in quite some time, and it's their first 4G LTE Windows phone that I know of. So this, as you can see, it looks a lot like the Nokia Lumia 800, which came to overseas market, came to Europe. It's available unlocked in the US, but not it's not available on any carrier. This is Nokia's second Windows phone in the US. The Nokia Lumia 710 came out on T-Mobile, and this kind of follows that. It's got a polycarbonate unibody shell, so you can't really access the battery. Nice shell. It's also cool because if you bang it up or nick it up, there's no paint. It's not going to come off. It's going to stay the same color, so you can't kind of scratch off the color. It comes in kind of the blue, cyan, and black, and it'll also come in white later in April. So as you can see, we've got power button here, volume, and the kind of typical Windows Phone shutter button for the camera. Then on the top we've got our, sorry if that's a little blurry, we've got our audio jack and USB, and there's a SIM port right here as well. Bottom you've got a pretty good speaker, and that's it on there. Nothing on the port side, left side there. So other than that, it's pretty typical Gorilla Glass, 4.3-inch screen, so pretty big. It's bigger than the 3.7-inch Nokia Lumia 800. Doesn't bend over the edges in the nice kind of way that the 800 did, but it does have the Amoled screen, which, as you can see, is very bright, very vivid, and has a good. The cool thing about Amoled is, not only is it really colorful, the blacks are extremely dark, and that really comes out in the Windows Phone interface more than even Android. I'll show you it compared to, this is the Samsung Galaxy Nexus, which is kind of the premier Windows Phone. So they're both set to about medium brightness. They're both about equally bright, and they're both very comparable. They're both AMOLED screens. This is a 4.7-inch screen, but part of that screen is used for on-screen navigation. Part of the problem, we find the Galaxy Nexus is a little more comfortable, as are a couple other phones, than the Lumia 900. This is partially due to the edges, which are really stylish and nice looking, but the corners kind of jam into your hand a little bit when you have a big device like this, because you have to kind of reach down to hit the navigation buttons. It's a little bit of a stretch, as opposed to, for some reason, it's about the same, but it's just slightly less of a stretch to get down to there. It all kind of depends on your grip, how you use the phone. The power button's also in a weird place. A lot of times it's higher. Nokia chooses to put it lower. It hasn't really bothered us too much. It's a little different to get used to. If you use it left-handed, you can kind of use it all the buttons are right there, so it's pretty easy. Front-facing, 1 megapixel camera, good front-facing camera. On the rear is a typical Carl Zeiss, they always branded for Nokia cameras, 8 megapixel rear with LED flash. Rear camera is pretty good for video. It can do 720p video. That's mostly due to the limitations of the processor, that it can't do 1080. Good. It has a little trouble transitioning from light environments to dark, so if you look at a window, it'll adjust to what's outside the window, but it'll take maybe 2 to 3 seconds. Going from a light room to a dark room or something like that. It takes just a little bit longer than some of the other phones we've seen. Other than that, it's pretty much up to par with a lot of the higher end smartphones. Not quite as good as the new iPhone 4S, maybe the new iPad. Maybe not quite as good as the Galaxy Nexus, but it's right up there. But so that's pretty much the hardware. Processor-wise, pretty standard Windows Phone, 480 by 800 resolution screen, single core 1.4 gigahertz processor, half a gigabyte of RAM. It's extremely similar to everything else. You get some unique Nokia apps that are pretty much the reason why you'd want to get a Nokia phone, other than the great hardware. So this is the Nokia collection. They're actually the only Windows Phone developer that's really invested in unique apps, having apps for their own phones. which is a little sad, but the Nokia Transit we've used, Nokia Drive. They've got an app highlights, which actually tells you about other cool apps in the Windows Phone Marketplace. And then they've made deals with ESPN and CNN and stuff like that. So everything else is pretty good. Other than that, it runs a fairly standard version of Windows Phone 7.5, codename Mango. Runs pretty well. And that is kind of an overview. We have a full review on the site that you can read, and that'll about do it.